The sole purpose of this video is to provide a basic overview and orientation of your new apparatus. This video is not intended to act as or replace individualized driver-operator training. Individual fire departments may base guidelines, policies, and procedures tailored for best practices. Pierce Manufacturing and Hughes Fire Equipment representatives are not liable for injuries caused from acts resulting from actions inconsistent with the information provided within this video and/or accompanying manuals. Refer to the Operation and Maintenance Manual for complete details relating to the components and features of this apparatus. Only trained personnel should operate this vehicle or perform maintenance. You are responsible for learning how to operate this fire apparatus under all conditions without having to refer to the manual while operating at an emergency incident. This video will discuss types of warnings and caution labels. It is your responsibility to locate and identify each of the labels and understand the importance and associated hazards. Warning labels will point out procedure that must be taken or action that must be avoided to guard against the possibility of serious injury or death. Caution labels will advise you that there is a risk of damage to property if certain precautions are not followed. Continuous training, reviewing of operation and service manuals, developing good standardized practices will assist driver operators with a more complete understanding of the components and operation of this fire apparatus. As the driver operator of this vehicle, you are responsible for understanding the function of each component of the apparatus, maintaining control of the fire apparatus at all times while in operation, make operational and functional changes while operating at an emergency without having to read operator's instructions or safety warning labels, operate manual override and emergency shutdown procedures immediately if a component fails to operate properly. Components location may vary with each Pierce fire apparatus. Review the exact location of each component prior to operation. Major inconsistencies between your vehicle and the information contained in this video should be directed to your sales representative. Safe operation of any vehicle is the responsibility of the driver operator. You must learn the location and function of all controls, switches, gauges, valves, inlets, and discharges. Due to a higher center of gravity, heavy trucks have a significantly higher rollover tendency than other types of vehicles. To reduce the risk of rollover, avoid making sharp turns, excessive speed, and avoid abrupt maneuvers. In the event of a rollover crash, an unbelted person is significantly more likely to become injured or die than a person wearing a seatbelt. In the event of a crash, unbuckled occupants can also become a hazard to other occupants as they may be thrown around inside the cab. Seatbelts are required while in operation. Please refer to your warranty certificates for details and information enclosed in your manuals. Customer-installed equipment must be mounted to withstand road travel and comply with NFPA 1901. Modifications such as drilling holes or welding to structural frame components of the chassis are not permitted. Contact Pierce for instruction and review of non-structural sheet metal or other dissimilar metals for modification. Follow the radio installation guide for further assistance on installing or mounting electronics. Before placing your new apparatus into service, perform a primary inspection of key components of the apparatus, including all fluid levels, anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic traction control. Weigh your apparatus to ensure that it conforms to axle and brake ratings. Never exceed the gross axle rating printed on the label inside the cab. Exceeding these ratings could lead to reduced component life, personal injury, or death. Review the use of auxiliary braking systems, compression brake, exhaust brake, electronic retarder, and hydraulic retarder. Before placing the apparatus in service, refer to the operational maintenance manuals. Information on the operation and maintenance functions for the components such as the pump, pressure governor, and foam systems, along with other options, is provided in either the Pierce manuals and/or other manufacturer support information delivered with the apparatus. If you need more information, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Congratulations, Lewis, Washington, on your new apparatus, job number 30819. Please utilize this job number when referencing your apparatus with Hughes Fire Equipment. Let's get started on a brief orientation of your new apparatus. Starting on the front bumper, just underneath, you'll find two open-ended tow hooks. Located on the face of the bumper, driver's side, you'll find two air horns. Up on top of the bumper, you'll find on the passenger side a front bumper discharge. Just inside of that location, you'll find a closed tubbed storage. Just inside that and in the center, you'll find an additional closed tub storage. And on the outer edge, next to the opposite side, you'll find a mechanical siren. Moving up onto the body on the right and left-hand side, you'll find two forward or side marker lights. In addition, with your headlight cluster housing your low beam on the outer edge and your high beam on the inside. Moving up from that, the next cluster, you'll find your right and left turn indicator. And just inside from that location, you'll find an emergency warning light. Moving up onto the outer section of the body, you'll find dual mirrors. There is a section at the top which is convex and a flat portion on the bottom. At the very top of the brow of the apparatus, you'll find your running lights. There are 5 of them across the top. At the very top in the center, you'll find a fixed forward-facing floodlight. And on the very top of the apparatus, you'll find your warning or light bar. On the outer edges, you'll find two fixed-facing side lights, and at the very top, a go light directional from inside the cab. Here's a close-up of those light clusters at the very top of your apparatus. Let's go ahead and now look down at the very bottom of the bumper area. This is the discharge port on the passenger side and the two tubbed locations for hose storage. Once again, this is your mechanical siren on the driver's side. Here is a close-up of the discharge port. As we look closer at this, you can see that this is a swivel style. It also offers on your front discharge the ability to cover water and foam. This is the center-mounted storage area. You'll find in the very back a cutout for hose to be applied outside of the tow box. Let's go ahead and take a look at the side bumper. You'll find emergency warning lights on the side on both the right and left side of your apparatus. Here's an image of your dual air horns. And let's go ahead and take a look at the under section of the front bumper area. You'll see the two closed tow hooks that are chromed, and you'll also see your TAC-4 suspension. This is going to be the passenger side headlight cluster in addition with your turn and warning light cluster. On the outer section here, you'll find your marker or turn indicator in the very front. Let's go ahead and take a look up at the top section of the cab. You'll find your 3-section windshield wipers in addition with your seamless windshield. Looking at the mirrors, you'll find at the very bottom section a flat portion of the mirror, and at the very top, convex. You'll also find your controls with inside the cab for each of those mirrors. We're going to go ahead and move now to the driver's side. Located in the driver's side, in addition with all entry points for personnel, you'll find a step light in addition with a perimeter light. This is the section just behind the front driver's side tire. Generalized view of the front cab of your apparatus, and we'll talk about some of the components within this area. At the very top, you'll find a side-facing scene light. Just to the rear section of the door at the very top, you'll find a multicolored indicator for your water tank. There's also one located on the rear section of your apparatus. Down at the lower section, you'll find an additional midsection warning light. Let's go ahead and break down some of the components within this area, mid-cab or midsection. And this is specifically at the very upper portion. This is where your crosslays are stored for crosslay 1 and crosslay 2, which have the capability of water and foam. The next section over, you'll find a pump light indicating your pump is engaged properly, and also master intake and master discharge. You'll also find just beneath that the 2 test ports for vacuum and pressure. Generalized view, we're going to go ahead and start in the upper left-hand corner of this pump, and we'll talk about the components in this section. At the very top, you're going to find your direct tank fill, which is an Acron electric valve. Moving over from that in the red section, you'll find your Husky foam system. This is the control instructions, and also to the right of that, your foam level for tank A. To the right of that, you'll find your Pierce governor and throttle control. To the right of that, you'll find a very small black round warning audible alarm, your panel lights, pump engaged indicator, and air horn. And to the right of that was also your engine cooler. Let's go ahead and take a look now at the section just beneath the area we covered earlier. At the very top, you'll find an entanglement warning. And going through, you'll find all of your discharges at the very top here, except for the discharge for your deluge, are all available for foam. Front, crosslay number 1 and crosslay number 2, and your front discharge. Just beneath that, you'll find additional discharge ports. These are the control valves for your number 1, number 2, and number 3, and your large diameter discharge on the off side or passenger side. Moving just to the right of this area, you'll find additional discharges here for the driver rear discharge, which is accessible with foam. You'll also find at the very top your tank fill or recirculating line. Moving to the right of that, this is the push to prime for your primer fire pump. Just down from that location, you'll find the T-handle for your pump drain. Just beneath that, you'll find your manual pump shift override. To the left, tank to pump, and at the very top, a multicolored tank water level indicator. Moving just to the left of this location and down one section, you'll find the number 1 and number 3 discharge. Once again, those are color coded. Moving to the right here, located in the center, you'll find your large diameter intake, and just to the right, you'll find your draft foam tank inlet. Moving down from that section to the front area, you'll find a variety of drains, in addition with your auxiliary 2.5-inch inlet, and also your Watrous placard. This is the location of your placard regarding your pump capacities, RPMs, in addition with pump pressures. Behind this access door, you'll find your foam drain, in addition with the lever regarding your foam handle for filling. The regular operation is in the horizontal position. The filling operation is in a vertical position. Also located on this side, you'll find this location for tubbed storage for hose. And just in front of that, in between the cab and the body, you'll find 2 additional drains clearly marked in this area. Let's go ahead and move to the very top section of your apparatus. In the center, located is your master stream device. This is your deluge. It has a TFT extended, and it also has a TFT nozzle. Located in this section, you'll find the hydraulic oil reservoir for your foam system. You'll also find an LED light for lighting this area for work. Just to the rear of this section, you'll find an elevated LED light, which lights the hosebed area in addition with your water tank and foam fill locations. On the right-hand side, labeled A, this is your foam fill location. It is a locking top. The water fill in this location does not have a locking latch. Looking to the rear section of your apparatus, you have a covered storage bed, in addition with storage on both right and left-hand side of the apparatus. There is also warning tape for access for visual appearances while walking on this area for safety.
You have some fold down steps on the right hand side to gain access to the very top area. This is a picture of your fold down steps. There are also lights to illuminate those steps while in use in the evening hours. Generalized view of the side of your apparatus. We'll talk about some of the components within these compartments. Let's first start with the very front compartment on the body. That is a 2-compartment door. To access this, simply access the first quarter turn and then access the second lever just beneath that. As you can see in here, you have ladder storage in addition with a boxed tool storage. In the upper left-hand corner, this is your S1 breaker box, which stands for shore power. At the very top of that box, you'll find your auto charger for your batteries. In addition, with the very far right side, you'll find shore power outlet and also your air brake compressor for maintaining air pressure while parked. Located in this compartment, you're going to find just in front of the rear wheel is bottle storage, in addition with securing straps for securing those bottles while in the compartments. To the rear section, you'll also find a quarter turn handle on this. Once you access this location, you'll find the fill location for your DEF and diesel. There is also additional bottle storage in this location. The blue is indicating for DEF and the silver cap is your diesel. Located in the middle, an emergency warning light just over the rear tire. And as we move further up to the next section, up to this long compartment at the very top, this is a lift which lifts outward toward you. Inside this compartment, you'll find a variety of different tool options for storage. This is a pegboard designed. It is intended to be pulled to the open position for mounting of tools on the front and rear of the board. And there is also a second tool board storage in this area. To release those tool board storages once they're in the open position, release this lever allows the tool board to restore back to its original position and lock. Let's go ahead and take a look at the compartment in the very rear, this tall compartment. Once again, a 2-access door. First lever is a quarter turn. On the bottom right-hand side of the door is the lever to open the second door. You'll find in this compartment you have a shelf on the very bottom that is a pull-out style. The other shelves are currently in their fixed position. In the upper left-hand corner, you're going to find a shore power outlet. This is the mechanism latch to allow you to pull out that shelf on the very bottom. Just underneath this compartment, you'll find the location storage of your folding wheel chocks. This is a generalized view of the side of your apparatus in the rear. We're going to talk a little bit about the rear section of your apparatus next. First, let's start down in the lower left-hand corner with the tail light cluster. This cluster houses an emergency light, a brake, turn, and a reverse light. Just up from that location, or I should say to the side next to the step, you'll find this black outlet. This is the shore inlet. It is a 20 amp auto eject plug. Just up from this location, you'll find this switch, which is your rear scene light. And as we move further up, you'll find a combination of step lights in addition with general purpose lighting to the rear. Also note there is some warning hazards here for riding on the rear of the apparatus and also for entanglement of hose, just to be cautious. At the very top, you'll find an additional warning light. And at the very top of this access point at the top of the steps, you'll find a compartment which can house long storage of tools or other items. Let's take a look at the overall view of the rear of the apparatus referring to the hose bed area. As you can see, you have some movable center dividers for your hose bed. Also in this location in the center is your rear or backup camera. There are also some warning labels here regarding to pressurized caps for your safety. Also in this location, just underneath the camera, is your traffic advisor. And to the very far right-hand side, you'll find, once again, a multicolored, similar to the two on the right and left of the apparatus for your water tank location for how much water you have in the tank. This is a direct fill. This is an electronic valve controlled at the very front of your apparatus on the driver's side. In this compartment, you'll find a variety of different long pull tool storage locations. There are 2 locations for a variety of different types of tool storage here. Let's go ahead and also look. There is the control for your direct fill on your tank. This is once again an electronic valve for the valve just above this location. Also down at the very bottom, this is going to be the bleeder for your direct tank fill. Let's go ahead and take a look underneath the apparatus. As you can see in the very center, there is an attachment point. On the right and left, there are perimeter lights. Image of your department logo. And behind your department logo, this is a roll-up door. When accessed this area, you'll find a fixed shelf in the center, and just beneath that, you'll find a roll-out shelf. To access that shelf, go ahead and just depress the small latch on the right-hand side of the roller bearings, which will allow this shelf to be pulled out to its outright position shown here. Let's go ahead and take a look at the rear of your apparatus, but let's talk a little bit about the very top, which also is your equipment ladder rack storage. This is the location of your rack on the very top, but mid-cab on the passenger side is where you'll find the controls for your powered equipment rack and also the controls for the cab lift. Let's go over the powered equipment rack first. You have an on-off with a green indicator and up and down lift lever. When that is turned on, you'll find that these latches move, which are air operated, to the open position. Correction, hydraulically powered. These are currently in the stowed position. Once they are open, which will allow the rack then to be able to transverse to its lowered position, which it is displayed in this position. On the side of this rack, you'll find your 14-foot roof and 24-foot extension. At the very top of your apparatus, you'll find additional storage for your hard suction, and also you'll find side scene lighting and rear scene lighting. Let's go ahead and take a look behind this compartment. 2-section door once again. Once the compartment door is open, you'll find a fixed adjustable shelf on the very top and also a rollout shelf on the very bottom. Same lever. Depress the lever to gain access for rolling this shelf out in the lower right-hand corner. Let's go ahead and move forward to the next section. We'll talk a little bit about this compartment here. This is the long compartment just over the rear wheel. Behind this, you'll find additional storage, which has a fixed shelf, which is adjustable. You'll also find a Velcro handle at the very top for pulling the shelf or the door down. Let's go ahead and talk a little bit about behind these compartments. You'll find a quarter turn location here, and you'll also find bottle storage in addition, with the access point for behind the access door for your hydraulic equipment rack reservoir. Just over the rear tire, you'll find an emergency warning light. It's the same layout as the opposite side. Let's go ahead and move to the next forward compartment. Behind the access door here, you'll find bottle storage. Once this compartment door is open, you'll also find the bottle storage safety straps, which are within each one of those bottle storage locations. Just beneath this and below the marker light mid-cab or midship area, you'll find your exhaust. In the upper left-hand corner, difficult to see, but pay attention, there is a indication sticker here for warning about diesel exhaust temperature, which you also have that on your dash for exhaust temp. Let's go ahead and take a look at what's behind this compartment door in the long section. At the very top, you have 2 adjustable fixed shelves, and at the very bottom, an additional pull-out style shelf. All of the compartments have interior lighting within inside. There are LED lights, as you'll see on the very faces shining in the compartment. You can slightly see that to the right. Here is the shelf in its outward position. Let's go ahead and just look forward of this compartment area to the midship section here, and we'll talk about some of the components here. Let's start at the very top. You'll find your grab handles, both upper and lower section. You'll also find that orange strap for detaching the cross-lay webbing. That's cross-lay 1 and 2. Let's go ahead and talk about the components here. Let's start first with what's in these compartments behind the access door on the left. To the right, we've already talked a little bit about your powered equipment rack and also your cab tilt. But let's talk more about what's behind this. You'll find a warning label on here for, once again, entanglement. But behind this access door, you'll find the access to a variety of different valving and access point behind the pump panel. Located just in the center of this compartment, you'll find on the left your large diameter intake. You'll also find a large diameter discharge and a 2.5-inch discharge. At the very bottom, you'll find your auxiliary 2.5 intake. You'll also find the drains for your discharges on the left and also on the right. There is also tubbed storage in this location for hose storage in this area, and also some step lights in this area. Generalized view of the front section of your cab. Let's talk once again just above the American flag Eagle logo. You'll find your tank service here to find the level from green, blue, orange to red, from full to empty, a visual indicator. Also on the front section of the cab, you'll find a mid-sectioned warning light. And at the very top in the black section, you'll find a side-facing floodlight. Generalized view of the side of your apparatus, but let's go ahead and start talking about some of the components that are inside the cab of your new apparatus. First, let's start in the door area. Of all doors, you'll find this warning label. This warning label is regarding seat belts and also entanglement. There are a variety of different things that I'd like you to refer to in your owner's manual regarding these warning stickers here. On the right-hand side here, you'll also find inside the cab your auto charging status center, which is located in the very first compartment, was where the device is located. And you'll also find about ankle height, right side. This is your Pierce label regarding your date of manufacture, job number. This also houses your gross vehicle weight rating. It also houses, lower down, is the VIN number, which can also be found on the upper A pillar of the front of your apparatus driver's side. There's also warning and caution labels located here. Please take note of those. Let's go ahead and start down at the foot level. On the left-hand side, you'll find a foot treadle here for your air horn and also for your mechanical, siren, also your brake and accelerator. As we move up from this location, just to the left of the center column, you'll find a cluster of switches. I don't have the information as to what these switches are labeled in my book, but I can tell you the quarter turn above and the orange, or green I should say, is the diagnostic port. On the opposite side, you'll find your pump to road and road to pump for engaging your pump, and also your main mirror controls. Just up from that location, you'll find your parking system brake and also your Allison transmission pad. Let's move to the opposite side, left-hand side of the steering wheel. First at the bottom, you'll find your ignition and start. You'll also find your emergency master, your headlights, and your panel lights. Moving up from that, on the dash cluster, you'll find the transmission DEF level, oil pressure, water temperature. Also in the very center, you'll find your tachometer, miles per hour. And as you look above those two locations, you'll find two additional heads-up displays regarding information and diagnostic information with your apparatus. On the right-hand side, you're going to find your voltage meter, your front and rear air, and also your fuel. Let's go ahead and move to the right-hand side of the operator. Sitting in the front seat looking to the right, once again, you'll find your Allison transmission pad. You're going to find there's also a sign that says pump in drive. And to the left, you'll find your parking system parking brake. Push to release and pull to apply. In the center console, you'll find the engine brake on-off switch, your engine brake settings for low, medium, and high, your off-road traction device. You also have a repeater switch, mirror heat, and load manager. Just up from that, you'll find at the very top of your apparatus your go light. This is the spotlight for control and on-off with a light illuminating to tell you you're engaged. This is also your push for windshield wiper fluid and turn for high and low settings on the windshield wiper motors. In this section gray, you'll find your climate control. It is for heat and defrost. Heat and AC are in blue and red. Just above the operator's head on the left-hand side, you'll find your width, height, and weight, and also your set of rocker switches here indicating emergency master. There are some future switches, perimeter, and siren brake in red. Next over, you'll find your driver's side and passenger side alley and scene, your front scene, passenger side scene, rear scene, and passenger side alley. These are all switches that illuminate when in the on position. Located in the center, you'll find your Pierce seatbelt information. The red is indicating that the seat's occupied but no one is belted, and green is indicating occupied and belted. In the very center, just over the head, you'll find this red puck style light. It is a do not move your apparatus if there is a compartment door ajar. You also find your unit radio for communications. And let's go ahead and turn around and look to the very back section. From the front looking backward, you have a center mounted roll-up door and a side mounted roll-up door in addition with an SCBA location. Looking from the outside looking in, you'll find two rear-facing SCBA bottle seats. Located in the very rear section of your apparatus on the driver's side, you'll find an additional SCBA mount located here. At the very top of this location, you'll find 3 hooks. And looking overhead, you'll find a netting, which is kind of hard to see in this image, but there is some netting that goes fully across the length of the apparatus. Also, your headsets and push-on, push-off red and white lights, and your air conditioning unit is located in the top. Let's take a look at the compartment at about ankle high in the very center of your apparatus. This compartment here is a location that you can access the rear section of your motor, and behind it you'll find your oil and transmission checks. This is also a push-on, push-off lighted compartment just inside the door. In the rear section, when the doors are rolled up, you'll find 2 shelves here. They are adjustable and currently in a fixed position. And at the very top, our section bottom, you'll find this 12-volt access block for powering of 12-volt items. On the driver's or passenger side, you'll find an additional roll-up door. Inside that roll-up door, you'll find additional 2 shelves. And at the very bottom, you'll find shore power. I think I have an image of the next set of pictures here. You'll find, once again, shore power located here. Also located between that housing to access the engine, you'll find 12-volt USB style power located on this side. And let's go ahead and move to the very front of the apparatus. Once again, your vehicle is equipped with a supplemental restraint system, airbags in the very front, and also there are some warning labels located on each of the access doors for gaining access for personnel. Located in the very front section, you'll find the fill for your windshield wiper fluid. There is also a warning sticker in the upper left-hand corner regarding those airbags. Generalized view of the ceiling or top of your apparatus. Located in the passenger area, you'll find 2 foot pedals. One is the air horn and the other is your mechanical siren. Moving up onto the dash, you'll find your siren brake. You'll find 2 ports, what are USB style 12-volt access points. Generalized view overhead of the passenger. We'll talk about these components next. Let's start in the far right-hand side of your image. And in this, you'll find your Pyramid CPU control or indicator. Moving just to the left of this location, you'll find your FireCom system. Just beneath the FireCom system, you'll find your wireless FireCom portion here. And as we move to the further left, you'll find your AM, FM, weather band, CD, and MP3 player on the left. Congratulations, Lewis, Washington, on your new apparatus, job number 30819. If you have any questions regarding the content or components within this video, please direct those to your Hughes Fire sales representative. Thank you and congratulations.